I'm going to go now into the next part of this challenge. We've established the three things that we need to do to manage fear when we're talking in public. Now, the next thing that comes up more often than anything else is, what do I do when I forget what I was going to say? Has anybody had that experience before? Suddenly halfway through or some part of your talk, you can't remember what it was? Awesome. So we're going to have a look at that, and then we're going to start actually crafting your talk. So let's get ready. This is how to stop going blank and panicking mid-talk. So I have gone blank on stage so many times. Sometimes it's been after I've done absolutely intense marathon style preparation. And other times I've gone blank with zero preparation at all. So personally, I've tested both strategies very thoroughly, and I can confirm that they are equally unreliable. Which proves one very scientific thing: my public speaking system was absolute rubbish. And what happened was, once I actually stopped judging myself for it, I finally started to learn what was happening in my brain when I was going blank. And this is what I found. Most of us think that going blank means that we're bad at public speaking. We don't have a good memory. We always mess this up. And this cycle of self-talk becomes really damaging, because every time we blank out, it becomes proof that there's something wrong with us. Maybe you felt that way too. I certainly did. Here's what's actually happening though. In my experience, what I've found is most people, when they blank out when they're talking, it's because they're trying to remember full sentences with perfect wording, everything that they have written down in their script from this really rigid document that they must follow regardless. So when we lose a word or we can't remember the sentence, this panic just kicks in. I think of it like you are trying to carry all of the grocery bags from the car to the house in one trip. I don't know if I'm the only person that's ever done this, but I will hook a bag over my arm, 3 or 4 hanging off these poor fingers, 1 over the shoulder, 2 between my knees, and I'll try and kind of stagger into the house. Rather than taking 2 trips or 3 trips, I'll try and do it all at once. Then an orange will fall out of one of the bags. And then the milk bottle, the condensation rips through the bottom of the bag and the whole thing drops on the ground. And then I try and catch that and other things fall over until everything, it's just on the ground. Going blank isn't failure. It's gravity doing its job when we're trying to carry too much in our brains at once. And here's the powerful thing that I have learned. We do not need to memorize every single word that we're saying. We only actually need to memorize 3 things. Are you ready for these 3 things? Give me a thumbs up if we're ready. Yes, everybody's ready. Sensational. Those 3 things are: number 1, the start. Number 2, the middle. And number 3, the finish. Those are the 3 anchors that can keep us on track and able to finish our talk even if we do go blank. So let's say we're looking at anchor number 1, which is the opening. When you start your talk, start with something that you can remember. And we're going to work more on this in the next couple of days in this challenge, but one of the best ways of starting a talk is with a question or a really bold statement or a clear problem. Now, if you cast your mind back a few moments ago, you might remember that I started this section with, I've gone blank on stage so many times. So I've stated a clear problem there. So I remember the first sentence of all the talks that I give. I gave a talk a few weeks ago to a group of women in business at a business women's meeting, and my talk started with, when I first started in business, standing in front of you here today would have been my worst nightmare. Now, that was one of only 3 things that I remembered from a 20-minute talk. The other 2 things were the middle and the end. So let's move on to the middle. The middle is the idea or the key point that you want to get across, whatever that might be, whatever your talk is about. For example, for this talk, my main idea is that we go blank because we're trying to remember too much. And if we replace that memory with structure, that can help remove that panic. So that's my main message. The third anchor is the finish. And the finish is so important. And in my experience, what often happens is, particularly with rehearsals, people rehearse it's a really common thing. They will rehearse something and they'll rehearse the talk all the way till they get to the point where they forget. Then they'll go back to the beginning and start again. And then they'll go through it. Then they'll go back to the beginning. And what happens is the beginning's super strong because you've done it 400 times. But the end tends to fizzle out. And the end is actually the really important part, because the end is what you leave your audience thinking, feeling, or doing. Those are the 3 important things. What you want your audience to think, feel, and do at the end of your talk. So in my case, I would like you to feel that you don't need to memorize the talk, that these 3 anchors will carry you through with confidence and clarity. You might want to have a call to action in your talk where you get people to connect with you to talk more about your product. Like in Victoria's case, if she was doing a call to action, at the end, she would say something like, if you want to get more information about the Crafty Curls product, please connect with me. And, you know, wherever you hear a talk, you'll hear the strong part of the finish of the talk is how you can identify a really good speaker by how well they land that talk. So I promised you that you would have a 1 to 2 minute talk that you could deliver by the end of this challenge. So in a moment, we're going to get started on that, and we're going to actually craft that for you. And let's have a look at what we've got in the chat. And if you've got any questions, now is your time to pop them in. And in a moment, we're going to hear from another speaker so you can start to identify some of these techniques yourselves. And this is what we do a lot through this program. Through the Vocal Power community and through our free program and our high ticket programs, you get the opportunity to practice, because the thing that we need as a speaker is an audience. So you'll get the chance to actually hear from speakers and start to identify the techniques they're using. And one of the things that I really like to hone in and reinforce to people all the time is that public speaking has nothing to do with talent. It's all about technique. So you'll be able to have the chance to actually hear some of the techniques in our next speaker now that you're starting to remember them. Now you're starting to hear about them. And Jason noticed that Victoria started with a question. She certainly did. So she did follow the instructions. Woohoo! She's nailed it. Excellent. All right. And Vivian says, I tried to remember the whole script. I hear you. That was me. And my script was like, you know, the encyclopedia. In the old days when encyclopedia came in volumes, there was a whole wall of them. That was my talk. I wanted every word. All right. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to hear from another member of our Power Talk program, and you can start to identify some of the skills that she is using. So as a speaker, mentor, and a mum of 4 who helps busy women to stop running on empty and finally come home to themselves, she is the foundation of Live Lighter with Lisa. And she brings lived experience, humor, and real-world tools to the stage. She shares stories of burnout, guilt, and rediscovery with soul and clarity. Her message is simple. Rest is not selfish. And joy, it's not a luxury. And you were never meant to carry it all alone. Please give her a very warm welcome, Lisa Cannon.
Thanks, Danielle. One ordinary day, my life changed. It was a Monday. I think it was around 1 p.m. At the time, I had 3 small children, and I was still in my pajamas. There was wet washing in the machine, dishes from breakfast still in the sink, toys scattered all over the floor. And I was exhausted. I snapped at the kids over something really small and instantly felt guilty. I thought to myself, is this motherhood? I'm invisible. I'm tired. Have you ever felt yourself disappearing under the weight of motherhood? When mum skips self-care, it really, really shows. When I'm running on fumes, I'm tired, I'm angry, I'm exhausted, and I'm short-tempered. And when I'm feeling that way, my whole family feels it too. The house is heavy. Everyone's tense. It's like we're walking on eggshells. Isn't it crazy how we joke about being tired mums, surviving on coffee and chaos and trying to be superheroes, doing it all? But quietly, we're just burning out. If you picture a fireplace, it's burning brightly, warmth and light spreading throughout the room. But fireplaces don't look after themselves. We need to tend to them. Otherwise, they just smolder and weaken and they die. And you know, us mums, we're the same. If we don't look after ourselves, our energy fades and our spark, well, it disappears. I realized that I guess on the outside, my life looked fine. To-do list tick, lunches packed, routine done. But really, on the inside, I was lost in my to-do list and I felt invisible. On that ordinary day, I know I needed to do something differently and make changes in my life. I started tiny, really tiny. I actually showered and got dressed before midday. I stopped putting myself last and I started looking after myself and show up for myself as a woman, not just a mum. Slowly, I felt calmer, more joyful, happier. I started to have more energy. I was more present and patient. And soon, my family saw that too. They felt it. I remember we went to the beach as a family. I felt the warm sun on my shoulders and there was just a gentle, beautiful sea breeze blowing in my hair. I was just kicking the ball on the beach with my boys. Just something simple. But I realized I'd found myself again. I was happy, I was present, I was enjoying the day. Now, all of these small things that I created for myself, I call the self solution. S is for self. Start and finish your day, 5 to 10 minutes, just for you. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just something personal that works for you. E is for enjoy. What lights you up? What did you love to do before you were a mum? L is to learn. Learn to live differently. Stop the guilt and start small. F is for family. Reset and reconnect with family and friends. So if you're ready to move from empty and overwhelmed to glowing again, connect with me at Live Lighter with Lisa. I have free and paid resources to help you on your journey. Before I finish today, I just wanted to ask you to choose one thing that you can do for yourself today to relight your fire. Because when you glow again, everybody else feels it too. Thank you.
Nicely done, Lisa. Dead on 5 minutes too. That was excellent. Timing is often the biggest challenge when we're doing these. Fabulous. That's the best I've heard you do it too. Well done.
Thank you. Thank
How
you.
much of that had you memorized?
In the beginning, I was memorizing, but now I just have bullet points and I have practiced. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Janelle says we're crying over here. Janelle and friend, great to see you. I don't know who CCIP14 is, but I'm either thinking a Star Wars fan or something just to mess with my brain there, but thank you for that. Rosalba says she aspires to be that calm when she speaks in public. Lisa, why don't you tell us quickly where you felt you were before you started learning how to be a confident speaker?
I avoided it like the plague. My body, I would go bright red, my voice and my throat would constrict and I'd be shaking and I would go blank. Yeah, I did not want to put myself out there to speak, definitely.
Would you have ever seen yourself being on stage in this kind of environment with people from around the world listening to you?
And talking for 5 minutes, definitely not.
Definitely.
No way in the world.
Awesome. And all of those people who have witnessed Lisa's journey that are already in the vocal power community, you guys can see how far she's come. I mean, that was so natural and really interesting and engaging. So I think that you're a great testament to how you can go from being somebody who's really unhappy or miserable about the idea of speaking in public to being able to share a message about your business that really connects with people. Congratulations, Lisa. Great work.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Now, if you're not already in our school community, please feel free to click that link that is in the chat and you can jump in there and get access to these recordings and other resources at the end of the session. We're going to now look at any questions that you guys have. Hello, Dolly. That's Dolly. Thank you. I feel better now. All right, we're going to have a look and see if you have any questions at all. If you do, pop them in the chat. But we're going to do the exercise to help you get started with your whole talk now. Hopefully, you've all got the idea of what it is that you want to do. So grab your pens or your devices and write down Anchor 1, opening. And for those people who might think that there are 3 and this is not something that's relevant to them, it could be about your life. It could be about a story that or an experience that you have had. It could be something that you might be sharing, like your martial arts journey at a summit that was coming up, for example, Shannon. So good exercise to do for everybody, regardless of whether they think it's something that they should be doing or not. So write down your anchor. And I'm just going to give you a template that you can start with. Today, I want to talk about. Just start it with that. We're going to polish this as we go. Today, I want to talk about. So we're going to start with training wheels and upgrade you to a Ferrari engine as we go along. So today, I want to talk about. And make that a sentence. If I was to do that, today I want to talk about how you can stop blanking out when you speak in public. You might say, today I want to help busy mums understand that self-care is essential, not a luxury. So put yourself a single sentence down. Today I want to talk about how to step into your own power, regardless of the environment that you have been silenced in, Kimberly. Something like that. Watching you. Sophie, I don't know you yet, so I can't help you out there, but we'll connect and then we can go from there. All right, that's anchor 1. Now, anchor 2 is kind of like, it's like a sandwich. So you've got two pieces of bread, and the first piece of bread is the opening and the second piece of bread is the finish. And in the middle of the bread, what makes that sandwich tasty is the second anchor, whatever it is that you want to talk about. And the way you start this is the one main idea I want you to remember. The one main idea I want you to remember. I do indeed, Shannon. The one main idea I want you to remember is the one main idea I want you to remember. There is no escape. And those prompts are in the chat if you're not sure. They'll also be in the community. There'll be a section in the classroom that will have the recording and some templates for you to follow as well. So if you haven't already joined the community, please do so. If you are in the community, you'll get access to those because you have registered and turned up today. So that's number 2. The one main idea I want remembered is and in Lisa's case, it was her acronym SELF, S-E-L-F. Your main idea might be that branding is your silent salesperson if you are in retail and you're doing that kind of role. Your main idea might be that you can keep your children calm with screen-free activities. Give me a thumbs up if you've got your main idea down. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's not like naming your first child. You can change it. Just give me a draft. Awesome. Okay. All right. Anchor number 3 is the finish. That is the action or the takeaway. What is it you want your audience to think, do, or feel by the end of your talk? So in Victoria's case, and this is one of the reasons I've asked a couple of our graduating Power Talk people to come and share their talk with you. It's because you can see some real live examples. I don't want to just tell you, I want to show you. So in Victoria's case, her takeaway might be you can use this product to help your child to have creativity and screen-free time to keep them occupied. So this is an opportunity for you as a parent to get the Crafty Curls product to help keep your children entertained in coffee shops or in travel. So that's what she wants people to think, do, or feel at the end. In Lisa's case, it is basically about what's one step that that person can take to care for themselves today. That's what she wants them to think about. What's that one thing that they can do? So what's one thing? And I'm not talking about selling to your audience. Let me be very clear about this. If you want to sell from the stage, there's a whole art and a craft to putting that together. And where most people go wrong is that they try to, make the whole thing about buy, 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 buy. But if you add value, add value, add value, people start to know, like, and trust you. And people will buy from people that they know, like, and trust. So don't think of it from the perspective of what can I get that person to do in terms of buying from me. Get them to take an action that's going to benefit them, that shows your value to them. All right, so what do you want your audience to think, do, or feel at the end of your talk? So for example, for me, I would like you to think and feel and do that. You should stop trying to memorize your talk and start to remember just the anchors, the beginning, the middle, and the end. We're all good with that? So we should all have 3 anchors, beginning, middle, and end. All right, so what is next? Start practicing your talk. You can put little bullet points under the middle in particular if you want to. I would encourage you to write a full sentence out for your beginning and for your end and memorize those 2 things. If you're going to do Bullet points for your middle, no more than 3. The human brain thinks in increments of 3 really easily. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. That's why people with more than 3 children can't remember their other children's names. There's a few people with more than 3 kids here that are going, yep. Okay, my parents got no clue which ones I'm on a 4 and they don't know which one I am. All right, so think of groups of 3 and then put no more than 3 bullet points down. And a bullet point, by the way, is the term bullet point is that it's the head of a bullet is quite small. So a bullet point's not this long, it's focused, really laser. So 2 or 3 words on your bullet point. Then start to say your talk, say it out loud, only from those anchors. So you can have a piece of paper in front of you and say it, but just say it from those 3 anchors. So your 3 anchors might be, today I want to talk about, and the one main idea I want you to remember is, and what I'd like you to take away from my talk is. All right, so if you want a little script point for the finish, what I'd like you to take away from my talk is. Amazing. Now, in our next session on Wednesday, in my time, we're actually going to start to polish this up. But what I've shared with you today is really important, the anxiety management, fear management, and how to actually craft a talk that is going to stop you from blanking out in the middle. And this is part of the very essential preparation phase of being a confident speaker. If you can prepare a talk well, you can practice a talk well, then you can present a talk well. So what I've shared today is that I used to believe that I had to remember every single word. And that led me to rushing and rambling and panicking. And now I hope that you know that we only need to remember the direction that we're going to go in, the beginning, the middle, and the end. And once you understand that, you only need to carry in your head those 3 anchors. You don't have to cart around grocery bags stuffed full of scripts and overpacked brains. That was my finish. Okay, so that's the part I remembered. All right, so there's a couple of people asking, how do you connect with community? There you go, Dolly, there is the link. You can just click on there and that will get you, usually you have to jump through a whole lot of hoops, but we'll make that for you so you can jump in there easily. Now, what we're going to do is see if there are any questions. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. And for those people who are going to jump off now, you're welcome to jump off now. I'll see you again on Wednesday where we'll do a lot of polishing of that talk. If there are no questions, then you can go and practice your talk. Nice to see you. I have an event that I'm presenting at for your next call, so it will be recorded. Yes, it will. It will be recorded, and because you've registered, you'll have access to that in the community. Fantastic. Awesome. A few people have messaged me as well, which I'll get to after this call, but I'm going to do a quick whiz round and ask everybody just to pop in the chat what you found most valuable today, please. Especially if it's your first time with me, I'm always interested in feedback, what it is that you have learnt. And Janelle, I have to ask you, who is your friend? You brought a buddy? Love it. So Jennifer loves the structure. Wonderful. Lay, I have messaged you and you've ignored me, but it's all right. My therapist says I'll recover. No pressure, but you chat. Awesome. How to start structuring a presentation has been most helpful. Thank you, Vivian. Damarian, gratitude for today's call. See you all the next one. Love your background, Damarian. Simple and easy to follow. Fantastic. All right, ladies, gentlemen, and others, have a wonderful morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in 2 days' time. Bye for now.